Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nayaswami Padma, and I'm here today to bring you today's moment of inspiration, noontime inspiration from the original teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. I'm reading and taking excerpts still out of Swami Kriyananda's autobiography, The New Path. This is July 19th, and I think it's interesting because this particular excerpt is from a talk that Yogananda gave on July 31st in 1949. And it goes like this. I remember how stirred I was by a talk that he gave at a garden party in Beverly Hills on July 31st, 1949. Never had I imagined that the power of human speech could be so great. It was the most stirring lecture I had ever heard. This day, he thundered, punctuating every word, marks the birth of a new era. My spoken words are registered in the ether. In the Spirit of God, they shall move the West. Self-realization has come to unite all religions. We must go north, south, east, west to cover the earth with little colonies, demonstrating that simplicity of living plus high thinking lead to the greatest happiness. I was moved to my core. Deeply I vowed that day to do my utmost to make his words a reality. So I paraphrased in there a little bit and skipped over a couple of phrases just to make it tangible for these brief broadcasts. And of course, what he was talking about here was the spirit of cooperative communities, the physical reality of cooperative communities that Yogananda saw coming into the future. This was in 1949. Imagine today, in 2022, we live in a time of globalization. The internet has essentially flattened the structure of this world to where, anyone can communicate with anyone. I remember hearing an interview once with Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, and he said that as a high school prank, he and his buddy figured out how to break into the long-distance telephone system, and they were able to make a direct call. They did make a direct call with the Pope and with many other world leaders. Talk about flattening, talk about every man and woman being able to communicate with one another. There couldn't be a greater example of that. Well, that globalization and the internet, the good news is, and we've experienced it through this pandemic, that we can stay connected. But the bad news is that we are staying connected virtually. And most all of us need friendships and human interaction as well. And so Yogananda foresaw a time when the balance of this, being able to talk to people on the other side of the world, communicate with them, eventually maybe probably communicating with people and life forms on other planets and in other solar systems. Who knows? That's certainly the direction that these things are going into. Is wonderful, and it's progressive, and it's the direction of human consciousness on the one hand, but that need for human interaction is also there. The need to have loving relationships with individuals, and by that I don't mean necessarily a spouse or a partner. I'm talking about friendship. Ultimately, those are necessary for the human heart to be able to develop and to transcend itself, you might say. And so having these communities, in a nutshell, are essential for the times to come. And even now, at the beginning of this movement, really the very beginning of this movement, we're hearing friends and people we know in the cities talking this way, and people wanting to come together and live in community with one another. So he wasn't originating a new thought there, but he was tapping into a universal thought of the times to come, where we're going, and what would be essential for our happiness and welfare. Joy to you, and we'll see you again on Thursday. Blessings. Bye-bye now.